our second episode of In the Drop Zone Hunting. What a week we've had weather-wise. I got Johnny in the studio. We were going to do this live earlier in the week, and Illinois got a little bit of an ice issue there, and so we talked on the phone, and then John was headed to Nebraska. We were going to do some remote record this thing remote, and John got busy, I got busy, and so we didn't do remote. And then John called and said, "Hey, I'll be back in town Friday." So John just flew in this morning. It's Friday here. Flew in this morning, jumped in a vehicle, and is now in the studio. So, John Burke, welcome back to the In the Drop Zone.
Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it. It's been a little while since we last got together and had a talk. So I'm looking forward to this today.
Yes, I am too. I've been excited about this one because of everything that you guys do and everything. So without even going too crazy, why don't you explain? I did a little video before you come on about it a week ago, and
Yep.
it kind of went through some of the back history. But I want you to, if you would, kind of give us a little bit of backstory on, what are we even sitting here talking about?
Okay. The Burke family, I'm from Bartelsville, Illinois. As you know, we're cousins.
Yep.
And it's my dad had passed away in 1997 of cancer, and I was the oldest in the family, so it was incumbent on me to kind of step in as a dad figure.
Sure.
For what a figure that is, right? But so everybody goes, "Boy, yikes, you're stepping in as that." But we had my sister Shannon and my brother Jared. And I have another brother, Chris. Shannon's the secretary of the Jared Burke Foundation. My brother Chris is the vice president, and then Jared, who the foundation's name in. Me and Chris, I was born in 68. He was born in 70. And then when I was 12, Mom came and said, I'm pregnant. We're going to have a baby. So then we had Shannon when I was 12 in 1980, and then Jared in 83 followed up. So I always kid Mom about it, tell her that she waited until Chris and I were babysitting age and had two more. So, but so I was in a role. Them they were young when Dad passed away in 97. So Jared had always been out hunting. We were always outdoorsy. Our whole family's always been into hunting and carrying on and doing the tradition and having that conservation mindset.
Sure.
That comes along, which is beautiful. I just continue today, but Jared had always been hunting with me, and I had worked with several different organizations previously, and Jared, we went out hunting. It was the 1999 first shotgun season, and we had some ground Buddy Tyson owned down in Pope County, and we had hunted it for several years, and took Jared out there, and we ended up starting out that morning. He had put some shells in his gun and it discharged, and told him that he needed to put it away because that was, and you read a lot of this stuff, Jeremy, the other day. So, but I made a big mistake, and I let him take that gun, and ultimately dropped it out of the deer stand, it discharged, and shot him and killed him, which ensued a 14-hour search because he got lost a little bit and was somewhere else in the woods than where we were supposed to be. So he took his orange off, and so I walked within 50 yards of him, but didn't see him. And it was all the way the next morning when the sheriff came and told me that he was gone.
Yeah.
That was, that people that have trauma in their life, you always hear about it, but that right there was, I never have lost all of my ability to comprehend or anything, or just lost everything at one time where you feel like you're going to faint. And I did. I fell into the sheriff's arms, and then the reality of having to go back and tell my mom, my sister, and so that was a thing in itself too. Bringing him back there, it wasn't bad enough that Jared was gone. We ended up burying him on Dad's second anniversary of his death. So coming back and telling Mom, I walked in the house. Mom says, oh, you're back already? Where's Jared? Shannon's in there, and my grandma B is in there also. My matriarch, I miss her greatly too. She passed away 3 weeks after Jared, actually. So it was a double whammy on me. But the Mom asked, where's Jared? And I told her, Mom, you better sit down. And Mom's like, no, where's Jared? And I said, Mom, you sit down. She goes, I'm not going to sit down. Where is Jared? I said, there was an accident. She goes, well, how is he? I said, he didn't make it, Mom. And Shannon fell on the ground in a ball. Grandma's rocking in a rocking chair. Not Jared, not Jared. I mean, I can see it right now like it was yesterday. It's one of those things in trauma that you just can't ever shake. You just learn how to deal with it and just live your life. It took a long time for me to get over the guilt factor, even though Mom, after just her saying no, 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 she came walking up to me and she looked at me. She goes, how did you do this? How did you go from there with what happened and come back here holding it till I said, Mom, I can't call you on the phone and tell you something about this. This isn't something I call you on the phone about.
Sure.
This is real. I mean, it's so real. I wish it wasn't. And it's just one of them dreams that you wish to wake up from. Because I mean, everybody's had that dream where they woke up and said, thank God, I really didn't steal that car. Whatever the case may be that you did. It's a bad situation.
Absolutely.
But here I was, and I was in it. So, we had a lot of, it was bad because I was supposed to pick my son Alex up that morning.
Right.
And his mom and stepdad and him lived at Charleston Air Force Base in Charleston, South Carolina. And I was supposed to meet her in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, pick him up for the Thanksgiving week. And he was going to come out and hunt with us the remainder of the weekend. So, well, obviously that didn't happen. Suzanne was the first one Alex's mother was the first one I called. I called her and told her don't drive to come, and told her what happened. And, from there, we went after going home and everything, funeral was all over and everything. I got to tell this story about my son, Alex, and him and Jared were tight. Jared,
this gives me goosebumps.
That was his nephew. And he was, they were tight. The two of them, as it's just pictures that I see them. Jared was always, every time Alex was over, he's always right there on him with him. I was like, don't you be teaching him bad stuff now. As if I wasn't.
As boys will do.
So, but Alex, after the funeral and everything, he went home and he came, calls me up a couple weeks later and asked me how I'm doing. I was like, and he's 7 years old at this time. I told him, I said, well, buddy, I'm not doing very good. And he said, well, Dad, Uncle Jared comes to me in a dream every night and tells me he left something for me out in the woods. And I said, bud, we picked everything up out there. That's not anything out there. He goes, well, when I come out on Christmas, do you think maybe we could go out there and see what Jared left for me? And I was like, yeah, Alex, we can absolutely go out there. So he come out on Christmas vacation. Me and him and my brother Chris went out to the property, and we walked up there, and we were walking through the pines, and we got through the pines because the national forest is demarcated by a thick row of pine trees. So I would imagine it's just for aerial purposes, because then they can identify where it's at when they're doing aerial surveys, because it's, when you look at a GPS map or something, you can tell definitively where the edges of property, but it's so thick in there that when you get in there and you're shining the flashlight at night or in the morning,
it's easy to get turned around.
Every tree looks like the other one.
What do you think is going on here when you're taking Alex down? I mean, in your mind, what are you thinking? He just wants to go see where this happened. I mean, yeah. Or as an adult, are you thinking he just wants a little closure of what may have happened here? Is that what you're thinking at the time?
All I was thinking is that he wanted to see where his buddy
had an accident,
and that's where he he's at.
Right.
His soul is probably walking them woods.
Right.
So, and I just thought it was peculiar when he made the request.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Especially coming from a 7-year-old.
Absolutely. So he, when we got up to the pines, we walked through and there's a balloon laying there, note attached to it. It said, pop the balloon, see the note. So we popped the balloon. It says, please tell us where you were and what you were doing at the time you found this. Kilgore Middle School, Kilgore, Texas.
Wow.
And Kilgore, Texas is between Dallas and Texarkana area in there.
And that's odd within itself that the balloon made it that far.
It from Texas.
All the way up to, by Shawnee, right? Basically.
Exactly. And the more odd portion of that is the teacher whose class it was from Ohio. And she told me where her hometown was. And if you were to draw a line from Kilgore Middle School to her hometown, it was on the line.
Really?
In the Shawnee Forest.
Ain't that wild?
Landed right there. I mean, then we're like, I go, whoa. My brother Chris says, Alex, how did you know that was here? Is that what he goes? That ain't what Uncle Jared left me. He left it by that tree over there. And he points to the tree that Jared was in when the accident happened.
Here's a 7-year-old boy who walks into a timber, never been in his life, let alone at 7 would even remember where he's at. And he's pointing
to the exact tree. And my brother Chris goes, what's that tree? I go, look at the base. I put a little crucifix there. And if you ever watch the 20-year video that Nick Jandro shot and edited of me on the 20th anniversary of Jared's passing, there's a little piece of it there yet. And that was surprising. I mean,
I bet.
It was that was an emotional filled day right there. To be back there and reliving it. But so Alex comes. I told Chris, I go, just let Alex go. So Alex goes and walks. He walks over to the tree, and me and Chris are just standing back watching what he's doing. He goes up there, and there's a log that was at the bottom of the tree, which I heard the shot from where I was at, heard a log crack. That was that log that Alex was going to step over here in just a few minutes. And I mean, you can see there's still remnants of the accident there. So Alex got up there. He looks at the tree. He looks down at the log. He steps over the log. He looks back up at the tree. He reaches. He digs in the leaves and picks Jared's grunt call up and said, "This is what Uncle Jared told me to come and get." It's just, that's Chris goes, "Whoa. I'm out of here." I go, "Out of here? Are you kidding me? This is Jared."
Yes.
Jared just did this.
Yes.
Jared did this. I mean, how can you even explain?
You can't.
That happened.
You can't make that shit up. I don't care who you are.
No,
that's not, especially if coming from a 7-year-old boy.
Well, I'll go into some of these stories about things that happen when we go on these Jared Burke Foundation outings that are just not coincidental. There's a lot of things that happen that I know he's there.
Yeah.
I know he's there with me, him and Dad and all the others that we have behind us that have passed and gone before us that Jared Burke Foundation has served. But Alex found that and it blew us away. But we knelt down, we said a prayer, and I said, "Hey, Jared, good one. You got us one more time." Because he was always that Chris Farley type joker, as you know.
Yes.
You know. So he got us one last time there. But then after that, it was quite a few years. I was working with a bunch of different organizations, and I ended up thinking to myself that when we have these big events and we're sponsoring some national sponsors, there's like 80% of it goes back to them and 20% stays with us as a local chapter. And the local chapter at 20%, it's good and it's great and everything else.
Right.
And these organizations are fantastic. They're great for the conservation and everything.
Sure.
But I needed something where I was able to take people out in Jared's name is what I wanted to do it eventually. And so in 2014, I was at a training at our corporate headquarters for the engineering firm I work for. And I called Mark Crakey up and said, "Hey, Mark, I'm going to start a 501c3 and called the Jared Burke Foundation. Been thinking about it for a while, and it's time that we do it, and I'm going to do it. So we're going to get a 501c stuff started, and we'll get going." That was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And now the Jared Burke Foundation has been in it for 10 years. And from that time there, what we were doing when we got all the bylaws and everything put together, we wanted to cater to not just everybody, but we wanted to cater towards folks that aren't able to do what they love to do, or by whatever means. First off, disabled. If they've got some kind of injury, both visible and invisible.
Yeah.
PTSD is a thing.
Yes, it is.
And we wanted to help those. Then we wanted to help disadvantaged. Now, disadvantaged might mean somebody that supports someone in their home. We have had a couple individuals that we've taken that have had kids that they require full attention.
Right.
24
Special
hours.
needs children that their
Absolutely.
lives are just wrapped around that.
That's right. And giving them a break from that to go on something with Jared Burke Foundation. So disadvantage is in a sense that, plus maybe they don't have the financial means to be able to do it. They always wanted to do this. Maybe they're fighting cancer. Maybe they're just whatever. There's a whole load of possibilities that could fit into disadvantaged.
Sure.
And it all goes back to the committee, and the committee looks over every application, and we make decisions on who's going to go to this one. And obviously, people that are sick or terminal, they get pushed first to the front of the line, obviously. But so I started that thing, started it. We got our 501c3 early in 2015, and our first hunt was with Brian Schulte, a hog hunt down at some friends of mine down in Texas, and we ended up going down there with him and having a fantastic time. And it just launched off from there. And since that hunt,
10 years ago,
I think it was in April when we took Brian out. He was fighting ALS at the time, and we got him out on that. His son, brother, and nephew, and all of us got down there. My son Alex went along, and we had a great time down there with Brian. And that, from that day, we started just putting it all together. And over the last 10 years, we've probably been on both outings all over the country, because we bear hunt in Maine, we gator hunt in Louisiana, we turkey hunt in Florida, we antelope hunt in Montana, elk and mule deer out in Montana. We hunt at several different ranches, Oak Creek Whitetail Ranch, Illinois Dominant Bucks, High Adventure Ranch, 3 of our faves that we go and actually get to hang out. They're great people, and they just love to help us out with our mission.
That's amazing.
To help these people get out on
turning.
Well, the motto is turning outdoor adventures into lifetime memories. And that's what we want to employ with each one of these individuals that we take out to be able to just forget about what might be going on in their life. If only for a brief moment in time, they get an escape from that, and they get a memory that may help fade the bad memory even just a little.
That's one thing that I find as you're sitting there talking. I was thinking, what you do, it's so special, because not only are you allowing someone an opportunity to do something that they love or wanted to do, that they probably, whether it be health reasons, are no longer going to have the opportunity to, or, financial means to do. Not only are your organization taking that person, but you're also allowing them to bring family with them, because it's be great for you to invite me to go to do this, and we would have a great time and go home, and it's a hunt or an adventure that I won't forget. But it's not quite maybe as special as if your son or your brother or your wife or your dad or someone that's within your family is experiencing it with you, because not only are they getting that memory, you know, as being the hunter. But if you're taking someone who is, you know, sick or terminal or anything, who you're taking with them is going to get to carry that with them after they're gone. That's what I find special, because they're getting to bring someone that's going to get to hold on to that as well. That's unique, John.
Absolutely. And that's what I've seen, a lot of good stuff over the last 10 years in this, doing this stuff with Jared Burke Foundation. It's just hard to talk about some of them. I mean, one of the ones that always was like I hate to say swan song, but it was a beautiful, and that was Jared and Lisa Emig when we went out to elk hunt with them. Jared had been fighting cancer for a while, and just to watch them two interact and get away from the frowns and the downs and everything else. It was an amazing thing, and love both of them dearly. And that trip right there put a change in me also. I mean, you know, there were several people that we lost. Brian, Max Hankins, there's several that have gone before us. Casey Wrench on the committee. My go-to man for JBF, killed in a car accident. Brendan Schrader. Which this past year we took advantage of our lease that we have out in Montana, and we brought Jared Emig's folks, Casey Wrench's folks, Brendan's folks, and Debbie and Kevin Newkirk came, their son Dalton, and we had another group from out in North Carolina that came with Hunting for Hope. Megan's folks came out, and these were all people that had passed, so these were bereaved parents.
Sure.
And to bring them out and be able to show them, first off, what Casey found for us in this beautiful place in Montana. And Brennan was on my hunt committee coordinator. Jared was out on a hunt with me when we got a memorial up on the mountain where he shot his elk at. And then, you know, Kevin and Debbie were out with, they did something special. Me and Lloyd did something special for them at, after they had left and such. So, but it was the folks that we've taken up there and taken everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter where we're at or what we're doing. Some of these places are just to get them to forget about things for a little while, and to be able to watch it myself. It's been healing for me.
I was going to say, I think some of this, your drive, you know, like watching this unfold for you, I think some of this is a healing process for yourself, whether you even know it or not. I think it is.
It is. And I tell people when we go out to Montana, I'm like, look, I go, this place is special. I said, I didn't even know I needed this place as much as I did until I got out there. And Lloyd Johnson and me have become like brothers. He is one hell of a man and just a heart of gold. The first we had Rick Albers out there when I was talking about disadvantage. He's got Dylan that him and Stacy take care of 24/7. His 50th birthday, Stacy asked me about an elk hunt, and I said, yeah, okay. So I put him in on this elk hunt for JBF, and we went out there.
While we're on that, let's talk about so people understand when we say out west.
Yep.
In this place, what are you talking about?
Okay.
Here?
Okay. The Specimen Creek Outfitters, when we first went out about 8 years ago, Casey had found this through Brandy Munkin. Brandy knew her ex-brother-in-law, Rowdy Yates, was living out there, and his boys. And she had adopted her daughter, Remy, from out there. So she had asked Casey one day when he was working on some of their cooler stuff, because he worked for Tunyas.
Okay.
Tunyas, and so she said, you should check out these people at Specimen Creek Outfitters. You guys might like that. Well, Casey got it set up. Lloyd sent us a letter. I still got that original letter Lloyd sent. And first sentence, this whole adventure starts with you bringing a good attitude. I kid him all the time about that, but it's true. Because if you go out there with they're going to put me right in front of an elk, and that's not the case. I mean, it's still hunting.
Right.
And you're hunting in the mountains. So for several years we had that. But then Lloyd came to me and he asked me if we'd be interested in doing some type of lease. And the lease would include as many trips as we wanted to take a year for 10 years.
Wow.
So I was all over it because being out there was just what it's about.
Sure.
And seeing the guys we bring Vietnam vets out every year. This year we're going to have a all women veterans.
Oh, nice.
At the beginning of
There
June.
you go.
So we're getting all that stuff set. There's a lot of stuff that's involved with getting these things set up and making sure we got it. But first we need to have the banquet so we got the money to do what we want to do.
Sure.
So but Lloyd and I, that first hunt that me and Rick had, we went up on, he goes, John, you want to go for a ride? I said, yeah. So we saddled up the horses, went all the way up the mountains. He took me up this creek all the way up top to this place they used to go to when they were kids. They call it the old trapper's cabin. And me and Lloyd are just hanging out, sitting against a tree, letting the horses rest for a while. I was down on the hillside of the mountain right by the cabin. He says, so what do you all want out of this with the Jared Burke Foundation? He goes, I had no idea who you guys were. He goes, but now I'm seeing what you're doing, and what you're doing is what I want my life to be. And he goes, so what do you want? What do you want? I said, I just want to be able to come to a place like this that's close to heaven in my mind and be able to bring others that need it. That's what I want. So started the relationship between me and him. And then 2 years ago, we ended up getting into a 10-year lease with him. And now we're bringing, it's not only just for hunting, it's for your soul, basically.
It's a retreat.
It's a place to go leave everything behind.
Yeah.
And, and the people I talk to that go there, we got a thing we started about 3 years ago called the Healing Wall. And it's down by these two cabins. He's got about maybe an eighth of a mile away from his place, set back along the creek, North Fork of Bear Creek. And we stay out there. A lot of us guys that are out just to help and stuff, we go out there because it's more primitive, and we let everybody else stay in the electrified areas where Bob Petermeyer and the Vietnam vets that took out the first ride because one of the guys couldn't elk hunt. They went out with us, and Bob Petermeyer, God bless him, rest his soul. But I showed him the cabins, the primitive cabins first, and it was like negative outside.
Had that look in his face.
They're just all looking at me like, we're in our 70s, right?
What are you getting us into, John?
So then I brought him up to the tack room above the lodge above the tack room. And I go, yep. I go, there's a bathroom, shower, sink, kitchen, TV with dish, and wood burner and heater over there. Bob goes, well, John, I think we're going to stay here. It's like, so I don't blame you, Bob. So, but that place out there, we've got the Wall of Healing, we call it. Me and Lloyd, last September, I wasn't able to get out with the bereaved couples and the Vietnam vets this year because my father-in-law was passing away of mesothelioma. And we lost him July 21st.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Gina's dad. And so that, and then her sister passed away 3 weeks later of glioblastoma. So we had a 1-2 punch this year in July and August. So, I mean, it's stuff that hits every family, and it just keeps, it pounds you.
And it never goes, seems like it just never goes away.
Right. It's when Jared and everything happened like that, it got to a point where I seen a shirt that said, God only gives you what you can handle. Apparently he thinks I'm a badass. I was like, man, I need that shirt right there. That's it. That's the one. But back to with respect to Lloyd and them, I wasn't able to go out. So I had a flight, and me and Lloyd were trying to get to, there's a place called the OTO Ranch, and it was the first dude ranch in Montana, like circa 1910, 11.
Oh my gosh.
Actually the mantle in the original cabin, still the original dining facility and hall and all that's right there. And the original cabins. There's like 10 cabins that surround this. So it's an excellent place for us to utilize along with the lease and we went and met with the National Forest Service. National Forest Service is willing to let us do this. So that's another thing. We can talk a little bit more about that later, but so that's another opportunity for us to help people out there. And Lloyd's been at the forefront of getting all this together and running down all this stuff. And that's what the whole premise behind what we're doing out in Montana is. It's a good thing. That healing wall is good. The guys go into the creek, they pick out a rock and they bring it out and they put it on the wall, and it symbolizes somebody they may have lost, like the Vietnam vet,
Sure,
or something that is in their heart that they want to leave. And
nice.
let the mountain deal with it.
Wow.
So let the mountain envelop it and hold it for them, so they don't have to do that.
Gives me goosebumps.
Well, just this year we had Alex Prock out there. He was with Josh Melton when he got killed in Afghanistan, and Alex was out hunting with us, and we brought him out to the wall and told him what it was about, and to go ahead and pick yourself a rock. He went out and he picked a rock, and when he brought it back, this rock had a big chunk taken out of it, and it was battered, looked like it had been rolled around in the creek for who knows how long, eons, but it was broke up. And he brought it up to Lloyd and he handed it to him. He goes, "Lloyd, this is my rock. It's just like me. Battered, broken, and pieces missing." I just looked at him. I was like, ooh. I mean, you can't not shed a tear when you hear that. And then he handed it to Lloyd to put in there, and Lloyd was just like shaking his head like, man. And then Alex, I seen him take his bracelet that he had the names of the 4 guys he lost while on deployments. He started taking off. I go, no. He goes, yes. And he took it off his hand. I go, yeah, just give it to Lloyd. And then he gave it to Lloyd. He goes, here's some of the piece that's missing. And I put the rock down on the wall, and he set that bracelet in it. Ooh. I was like, Lloyd goes, big, strong, tough mountain man. Had to go behind the cabin for a while. But it was one of those things. I mean, when we were putting the wall together, I came out and I walked around the corner of the vehicle and I looked at it, and it reminded me of everybody that I had there around that campfire that told me some kind of story that a lot of these Vietnam vets I've known my whole life, and they're telling me stories that I had no idea. Wow. And but all that is there. They've left it there. It's powerful, very. That's awesome. And so, this past year, with I was talking about coincidences and everything. Casey's mom, after they got back, I ran into her and Brenda and Mark coming out of Millside. She comes up, she goes, "Johnny, you told me that Casey would come to me out there." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, that picture of Diane, Debbie, me, and Margie and all of us standing out there with our arms around each other?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you know what happened?" I go, "No." I said, that picture was powerful. When I saw that picture, I was like, oh my, that is powerful. They're overlooking the Yellowstone River down the valley, and they're just being there. Right. And she said, 4 white butterflies flew up out of the weeds up to us while we were standing there. I'm like, she goes, I told him, I said, "Johnny said Casey would come to me. Well, here he is." I was like, so you think a lot of times that's all coincidence stuff, but if you can believe in the signs that you see and that God brings you when you are hurting, they're helpful. 100%. So I encourage everybody to always look for the signs, cardinal, whatever the case may be. Keep your eyes open. Right. Absolutely. It's just something I sit here and I'm listening to you talk, and hunting in Louisiana and deer hunting other places in Maine and Wyoming, Montana. All these trips, it seems like you somehow impact people in those areas from them. And it's obviously that it's a good thing.
your impact on them, because it sounds like everywhere you go as a norm, you create some kind of a relationship with these people, outfitters or whatever it may be that you're going to take your people to. And
Yep.
you end up having these after, back to the same, you create these relationships with them, and they want you back. They want you to bring your people back to them.
Absolutely.
That's a special thing.
Absolutely.
It's obviously that people who don't know you or your foundation, they see the good in it, or they wouldn't be having you back, or wouldn't be wanting to, Lloyd going out of his way to try to make something. I mean, obviously they're seeing the greatness in this, because they would just one and done and move on.
Right.
So that's special, John.
So it is. And like I'll give a shout out to the guys that are constant with us all the time. And that's starting up in Maine, is Big Machias Lake Outfitters up there. Great people, Jeff and Corey Lavway, and Dana and the guys over at Hughesbrook Lodge. His family, awesome food, everything. Awesome. We have a good time up there, bringing it up there bear hunting. Down in Louisiana, we got Micah Mesh and BJ Roberts of Swamp Masters airboat services down there, and everybody at Atchafalaya Basin Lounge, Tucker and Christine and all the folks over there for when down gator hunting. They're just big hearts, big. Give. And then we've got John Whitehead letting us turkey hunt over in Florida. We got Lloyd up in Montana. We also have Chad and Doug Weiberg, who have taken the Vietnam vets out, and they've also took Colt Rotterman out and killed an antelope out there with him. Like I said, High Adventure Ranch, Oak Creek Whitetails, and Illinois Dominant Bucks. And we've had some experiences out in New Mexico with an outfitter out there we just had one hunt out there, Sean Abernathy.
Yeah.
As you know, you were the one that nominated him.
Yeah.
So he went on that one there. I'm hoping that helped out him and his family also, and being able to do that. That was a good surprise when we had this.
That was funny.
Sitting on the railroad tracks.
That was amazing.
So, but yeah, those guys there. I know I'm going to, just in the moment, I'm going to forget somebody, but everybody that's ever done anything for us and continue to do things for us. Oh, yeah, Cayuse Hills Outfitters, Wes and Lydia Sargent. Lydia is Lloyd's daughter, and we get out there, and we just had Mick Alberts was out there this year. He killed an elk and a muley, and as many people know, Mick is wheelchair bound, so we can do it over there. The mountains is a different story, but out there at Wes and Lydia's, it's a good thing. And out there with that, Montana Taxidermy has been there for us, willingly take in things that we can't bring home, because we had Sudolt boys out there shot a stag muley.
Wow.
Well, it's still got all of its velvet and it's alive. The velvet's still alive, so it's got to get treated. So Montana Taxidermy stepped right up. Yellowstone Processing out there went in, brought 2 elk. They cut it up, packed it up, made breakfast sausage and everything on 2 elk. Come in there and they go, $300. I go, what? $300 for one?
Would you forget?
They go, no, for both. And I go, ma'am. She goes, we want to do our part too.
Wow.
It's contagious. Giving is contagious. If you can give and give and give and never take, because there's nothing, you get nothing out of taking.
You said that, and it's funny. I talked to you on the phone today. We were just having a conversation about something, and I said to you, things come up, and it makes you think that there still are, in the world sometimes we live in, we think that there's no good in this world. Because it seems like all we see is the bad, media and everything. It seems like it's always bad, or, things that are going wrong. And it's things like this that make you stop and step back and think there is still a ton of good in this world. Sometimes we don't get to see it up front. It's a shame, because this is the stuff that should just be plastered everywhere, is the good everybody does and are willing to help with. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
amazing. You know, there's just to see the good in people.
Well, and like I'm talking about all the trips and the outfitters and everything. The real heroes in this whole thing with Jared Burke Foundation is our followers and donors. I mean, if it wasn't for them and their massive generosity they've showed us over the last several years, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Well, and that's where we're headed right now is these trips, you know, being an avid hunter myself and looking into going here to hunt or wanting to go do this. Anybody that's within a hunting world, it don't even have to be hunting, just going on a vacation for that matter, knows the expense that some of this stuff is. And
Right.
this stuff is not cheap to do. And
Right.
it takes a substantial amount of, you know, of
Absolutely.
assets to make this happen. And this wouldn't happen for the Jared Burke Foundation without donors in this fundraiser that you do. And that's where
That's correct.
that's where I'm headed now is the Jared Burke Foundation fundraiser.
Yep.
Let's get into this because
Okay.
this is where it's at.
Yeah, this man, I don't even know what to say about all the people that give to us and then we pay it forward. It's like they give us the money and then we just go do good stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, you're totally blessed when you're able to do some of this. And thank God I've been with my company for as long as I have because, you know, I took off last year, the year before last, I took off 70 days.
And I've always wondered that.
And the company,
how does your company that you work for?
I worked for him for 27 years.
Boss, I'll be gone for 12 days.
Yeah. I said, John, just don't take off more than 3 weeks. So I took off as many days as I could because ultimately I want to get out of this engineering, running around the country, doing all these massive construction projects I got on me besides Jared Burke Foundation. I want to be able to get out of that and just do JBF totally. But JBF doesn't pay me any money because it's all volunteer. Right. So the satisfaction I get out of that is seeing the greatness of what happens with the people.
Sure.
And stuff. So I never do anything on these trips myself because that's not something that we do.
Right.
You know? It's about them, not
sure.
us. If we want to do it, we got all the guides in the world that we can do it. We just go out by ourselves and pay for it ourselves. But the event and all the stuff that comes to us to be able to fund these trips, because over the last couple of years they've gotten very expensive because of the inflation and everything. Sure. But nonetheless, we make sure that we were able to get everybody in. So our banquet this year, we usually have it. Well, not usually. It's always the third weekend of February every year at the Germantown American Legion. And this year, we usually can fit about 450 people in there comfortable. And we have we have a dinner, and then they have free beer all night. We have tons of raffles, games that we have. I do a talk about what's going on, where we're headed, and what we got going or what happened this last year. We have memorial videos for those that we might have lost past year. This year, I'm compiling all the pictures from our 10 years, and I'm going to put them up. 2015, have every one of the hunts. 2016, all the hunts, and then just to have everything, which is, you know, take a while to get to. It's not going to be a whole videos. It's just going to be snapshots of the hunts themselves, which the outings are 200, maybe a little over 200 outings in the 10 years that we've done this.
Wow.
So, and that's local and outside the state and such. But this is our gas station right here, the banquet that night to fuel us up for the year. So
you're making light, John. This thing, I think it's because you and out. I've been to this thing numerous times. This, what you guys do, even that night, I think because you do it so much, you sometimes probably can't see it because you're so busy in it.
Yep.
This is not, that thing is not normal. I'm telling you, what happens over there, it is not normal. This is amazing. What unfolds there is amazing. I've told hundreds of people that I've been to, I'm not naming names of different kinds of banquets and things because I don't want to throw places or foundations under the bus or nothing, but this thing is the most well ran, organized, put together event that I have ever been to, seen, watched unfold. So don't make light. This thing is amazing.
Well,
it truly is amazing.
That's a lot of hard work by my committee and my little sister Shannon. She runs this thing, and she has perfected it, I would say, to where the amount of money coming in is crazy. And she had, she cracks a whip on me, says, "Oh, well, you're going to be talking for a half an hour." I look at her. She goes, "So Shannon, I just did a podcast for an hour. What do you think about that?" But God love her. She's an unsung hero in a lot of this. She puts a lot of time and effort into this thing, loading up all the auction items, keeping everybody square. And all of us can't help but piss her off along the way, but she keeps us in line with it.
Let's go into that because I want you to explain that it's this thing goes like hotcakes. Yep. When you guys usually put out if you've been a part of it before, you'll get a text message of sort. If you follow their Facebook page and stuff, they'll announce, "Hey, tickets are going on sale the morning of whatever you guys decide it is." And by day's end, it's done.
Yeah, they go. I think it went 3 days.
3 days.
But we also at the beginning sell tables. Tables sit 8. You can get a table for $2,500 and you've got a gun on the table already. So this year we usually restrict it to like 10 or so. This year we just opened it up. And I think we ended up between 20 and 30. Shannon runs all that. I stand back and just do all the JBF administrative stuff and that. The banquet's her baby. And I just let her roll with it. So she's got all the accurate numbers, and I probably wouldn't do it justice if I talked about it. But we did talk a little bit before I came. I asked her what should I say so I don't make it look like
next time we're going to bring, next time we do this, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
We'll get some more of the committee involved too, because and we will at some time. I'm going to have you go through all of them and talk about them here. But there is so much stuff that's there. I don't even know if you're going to be able to get through all of it, but lots of different kinds of guns. You kind of go through it.
So what we do is for every so many sponsors at $250 plus these platinum sponsors, you can be a platinum sponsor at 15. We have no tickets left for the banquet. So if you're listening to this and think you can get in, it's sold out. But we do still have non-attendee sponsor packages. The non-attendee sponsor pack is $250, but the $250 will get you in on, right now, we got 36 guns that you'd be able to get in on the drawing for.
Gotcha.
So that's what $250 gets you. We also have a non-attendee platinum sponsor that's $1,500. You're going to end up getting a gun right away. It's going to be it's a Browning A Bolt 3 that you will get for that $1,500 donation.
So my company, me, a person, a group of guys get together. We can put this up. We know we can't go there, but we're still going to get a gun that we can fight over or draw between us, raffles. And we're still going to have an opportunity
at the other 36 guns.
At the other 36. That's a lot.
Absolutely. And you can make a fun part out of it. Have a watch party, because we Facebook stream live that night to do it. And all the festivities will be from basically the live streaming will come in after dinner. From after dinner till about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, we'll have live streaming on it. And that'll be just different. We'll do the raffles and everything during that time. And Shannon's got it all set up and planned out. So here's the time frame on when this is going to go. We've got a ladies' table inside there. We've got about 10 or 15 live auction items that won't be available to the folks that are watching, but those are for the people that actually are there. We'll give them a chance to be able to do that. But we also have a load of auction items, silent auction items you can bid on And you can all go to jbf24.givesmart, GIVESMART.com. So
We'll put all this on our
yeah.
We'll put all this on our platforms,
Yep.
Facebook and all that, so they can clickable link. I'll pull it from you.
Yep.
And which I'm glad you brought that up. I was hoping you were going to say that because there was a couple years that I couldn't go. We were out of town the weekend of the event, and you can go along live.
Right.
If you're bidding on things, you can bid on them live, sitting at home, and still have the opportunity at some of the items that you guys have. And the neat thing about some of these items are the uniqueness of what they are from some of these people that you've created, once again, relationships with.
Absolutely.
And the neat, just
intricate.
artistic creations that these people come up with that are just for this banquet. Some of them are amazing.
Yeah, all the carpenters, the Feeney boys that do some woodworking for us every year. Paul Cooper, can't say enough about Paul and all the things he's made for us over the years. Super, super awesome. And Joey Rensing with his wood artwork with chainsaws and everything else. All the guys that do this and donate these things and take of their time. I just think about that. It probably took them a week or two of nights and weekends and everything else to actually put this thing together to give it to us. Julie Feeney and others that have made quilts for us. It's just amazing. I mean, the hard work and stuff that they put in there, it's just outstanding. So, we got all those items. Shannon's adding them now. And we've got raffle tickets on there too. There's a raffle ticket this year. It's a raffle ticket with, we've got a Ranger E Quiet Cat bike as a first prize.
Wow.
Green Mountain Grill is second prize. And then we've got $250 gift cards for 3rd through 8th for the Bow Shed, Don's Gunsmithing, Scott's Processing, Carlisle Meat Market, Germantown Market, and Cordy Meat. I mean, these are all people that support us throughout the year, and they're always stellar to us. Bones over at Hilltop Firearms also. He's always great. He just had the Coyote Fest for us and that. All these guys that do this, the Tunyas boys with Josh Tunyas's golf outing every year, Swamp Tales with Swamp Fest, all that adds up throughout the year. Earl Sandel and Doug Murphy did do a fun run on their side-by-sides and that every year. Every little bit of this comes in and helps us when they're doing it. Applebee's put on a fundraiser for us this year that we donated to Whispering Pines. So it's amazing the amount of people and the support they give us and the support because then when I see this, we're always going to be there for people that need it.
Sure.
Whatever it might be. So with the banquet and everything else, that just starts out our year and we plan it out and get everything going from there.
That's wild. Why don't you, if you want, why don't you give a shout out to everybody on the JBF that, your team and who's, because there's no way one person can do this. So there's these people probably put in endless hours just for a one night. That this is the Jared Burke Foundation right here. This is what's going to make things go for your year of helping others. So you're not doing this alone. So let's give a shout out to these people.
I'll start out with my my executive committee. The executive committee is myself. I'm the president. My brother Chris is the vice president. My sister Shannon is the secretary, and then Brian Feeney is our treasurer. Then Eddie Cooper is our financial advisor, and he does our tax prep and everything like that. So he keeps us in the straight and narrow when we need some guidance getting back on track. But then we've got the committee members are Colby Haar, Kenny Pearson, Laura Beckman, Mark O'Laughlin, Nick Jandro, Randy Malone, Scott Rockers, BJ Roberts, and my son Alex Burke is in there also. He's been a busy boy this year. So had twins last year
I
in
know that
December,
feeling.
so he's been fairly busy with all of that. But all the people that we have on our committee and that doesn't include a lot of the volunteers that are always there, working with Hunting for Hope, Mark Crakey and Brent, working with them, and all the people that offer up their property to us for youth turkey season and all this other stuff, and the relationships that we've gained through all of this. It's phenomenal. I mean, these guys on the committee, they make the wheels continue to roll, because we always, we'll put out something. Somebody's got an idea, we put it out there, we vote. Yeah. And then we make it a part of the meeting minutes at the next meeting, because there's some things that need to happen in between our monthly meetings. We meet once a month, on the third Monday of every month. And, we get everybody together. You make it. If you can't, you can't. I mean, that's just, that's where it's at. So, we've got some things coming up. We're going to get ready to plan this year. I've been I got some turkey hunts and everything all set up, obviously, because you got to get tags in. But this year we're going to have four veteran hunters, and then we're also going to have two Clinton County deputies going to be going up with us up north to turkey hunt up at Torrenson Lodge, which is an affiliation with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. So still working on. I've got all the veterans done, but we're still working on the others on where we're going to take there. We've got London Campers going to go down to Florida with us and turkey hunt down there. So that's what started for now. We've got veterans fly fishing thing that we started last year.
Wow!
Shout out to Jerry Volkamp and Joe Rensing. We had a couple vets out to Bennett Springs. And we're starting to dive into that one, getting these guys from John Schmink over at the VA at Jefferson Barracks, and also we're going to start working more with the VA in Columbia, Missouri, and also down in Marion to get some more people that could use a little bit and get them on some of these bigger outings, where we can group them together. Because I found that getting the veterans all together to do that is where it's at. Because the camaraderie is just, it's fun.
That's
a
awesome.
lot of fun. Razzing somebody inevitably everybody hammers on the Air Force guys, but that's the way it goes, right? Until you need some air support, and then it's not so funny. But so anyway, but the year's getting planned out. So we got a lot of good things coming up there. We also have we're going to be working on the OTO ranch on the side, just volunteers going out and helping and the National Forest Service will let us use that place. And that'll be a continuing thing. It's not going to be a massive right now thing, but we'll get to use it here this year. We'll be able to use it to actually go out and maybe have a barbecue and stuff out there like that. There's some other exciting news. The IDNR, I'm working with them to actually recreate a video of the accident Jared had. And we're going to recreate it so we can play it at all of the hunter safety courses.
That's huge
in the state. And me and a video producer are going to be talking here in the next week. We were trying to get together last week, but Steve Ettinger and the folks over at Illinois Conservation Foundation, it's been a great working relationship with them. They felt obligated to induct me into the Illinois Outdoor Hall of Fame in 2021, which
that's awesome, John. You deserve it.
That's just an extension of the Jared Burke Foundation. That award is the Jared Burke Foundation. I mean, it might have my name on it, but the real thing is Jared Burke Foundation. Everybody just named right here, and all the sponsors. That's theirs. It's a compilation of what I ran to get there, but it's not only me, it's everybody involved. So that and Vietnam veterans made me made me an honorary lifetime member of the Vietnam Vets of America. That was an honor. I mean, that was a massive honor right there. That I've believed in those guys since I've been a child, and being able to do something with these giants, these heroes, is a lifelong dream. And we're going to actually February 8th and 9th, we're going to be participating. Some folks from JBF will be participating in. We're going to go watch a screening of When Trauma Comes Home. It's a movie over at SWIC. And then and I would encourage anybody that's got some trauma to come and take a look at our website. I put a thing up there, or on our Facebook page, put a thing up there. If you've got some trauma and you've had in your life, and you want to try to help identify where you're at with common trauma people, you should do this. And then they've got another trauma class, if you will, to teach about what trauma is and what PTSD is. And that's only helps all of us understand the magnitude of what some of these guys went through and why they can't forget. I
can't imagine.
So, I know myself, I'm taking the class, and then several others from JBF will probably be there also. So it'll be, we got that. And then we'll just get into Lady Veterans beginning of June, and Vietnam Vets beginning of June. And we'll see where we go from there. After we have the banquet, we'll find out what amount of stuff we can do. We'll probably be on a bear trip and a gator trip, and then out in Montana for elk and mule deer again next year. But in between, we've got other things that we can go do, some fishing outings and some other places that we can go down, Louisiana, Florida. There's different options that are out there right now, and just trying to compile them all right now, just to put it in front of the board to see where we're going to go.
You know, I really do encourage everyone. Like John said, the tickets are sold out for the fundraiser this year, but going forward, if you get an opportunity to go to this thing, go to it. If you can't, this year you're not going to be able to go to it, but I encourage you. I'm going to share the links. You can go to their Facebook page. I'll have all that on our platform and stuff, but go and help participate in this thing in any way that you can. It does go to a good cause. It goes for the right reasons. And, John, you're a special man, and it's wonderful what you do. You got a great support system around you. I can't put a finger on why, but the Burke family's always held a special spot in my heart. And everything that you do don't go unnoticed. And we hope for the best of you to have a good 2024 and a safe one. And we appreciate it.
Jeremy, I appreciate you, brother. I love you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, folks. We'll tune into the next one.
Yep. Thanks, everybody, for your support. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So God bless you all.
Thank you, John.